Hi guys, I've been collecting Wii stuff for a few years now, and in that journey I've picked up a few bargains, and just wanted to talk about those in this video. And obviously this isn't all of my Wii collection, although the stack does go two back, so there's actually 2 rows here and 2 rows here, so there's probably about 150, 200 games in that lot, but I actually have other games, and I've got a lot of accessories and consoles as well. So I'll be mainly looking at games, but there is actually a console that I want to point out as well that I got as a bargain. So let's start with this game first. It's very collectible, and it is Xenoblade Chronicles, and it's probably the first bargain that I've got in the Wii range. It was actually at the start of when I was searching for it, and I actually haven't found it since, which is kind of funny. This is the only game in the last 2 or 3 years, only Wii game in the last 2 or 3 years I've seen this particular thrift store actually have on the shelf. It's the only one, and it happened to be one of the most collectible games. And I got this for $6. It is in such good condition. This is like you could wrap it and call it new. It is just in perfect condition. The CDs have absolutely no scratches on it, and it's got the bonus soundtrack CD as well. And look, as you can see, I kept the receipt just as because it was such a bargain. I thought, you know what, I'm going to keep that receipt. That was such a score. So $6 for Xenoblade. In Australia, I'm talking Australian dollars here. Whenever I say dollars, I'm talking Australian. So obviously on eBay that would go for a lot more than $6. You'd probably be looking at, if you were lucky, you might get it for $8, but in that sort of condition, probably over $100. Next up we have another score, and this game's actually gone up in value quite a lot. It is a Shadow's Tale. It's got a bit of a cult following, and has become collectible. This was actually I actually got this one from a online retailer, and I actually bought it online. So this was very lucky to actually get this game. I'm lucky I was so quick to get it before somebody else did. I think this particular online retailer was copying another online retailer's listing, because I got it for $12 delivered, and again, obviously online that would go for a lot more than $12. I think they're about $80 in this sort of condition. You're probably looking at about $80. And yeah, I think this retailer just copied the larger chain's listing of $12 and didn't do research into actually what it was worth, because they listed it at $12 and it's worth a lot more. So I feel quite lucky to actually have picked up that copy. As you would have seen on the video preview thumbnail, I have this showing as free with a question mark. The question mark is because there's a bit of a caveat. It came with a pack of other games, and I'll put up a photo so you can see what I actually got. And I was a little skeptical about the condition of these games from the person's listing of this of these games. It looks a bit rough, and just sort of chucked in the back of a ute, but they turned out to be ex-rentals, which was a bit of a disappointment, but the condition was still pretty good, and I've just swapped the case for a new one, because the case was actually still pretty good, but it was a little bit rough, and I wanted, obviously this game is very collectible, I want it in a nice case, so I've got a Wii Sports case I swapped it over with, which was in really good condition, which makes it look a bit better. Only thing I can really fault, everything in it's pretty good, only thing I can really fault is that being an ex-rental, these games tend to be pulled in and out of the case quite a lot, and they often have cracks in the center here, and you might be able to see in the video there's a little crack that extends into that little silver area. That's not going to affect the gameplay. I've tested it and it does work. That won't affect the gameplay, but obviously you need to be careful with that now, because that crack can extend. I think you can have them repaired as well with some sort of epoxy, or even just a bit of tape would probably help. To keep the crack from extending, or a round sticker so that the CD still balances properly in the when it's being read. So that's the only disappointment with that. I think I'd probably still get $80 even with that crack on it, because it's so sought after, and everything else is really good about it. The artwork and the booklet are all in good condition. So that came with, so the question mark for free is because this game came with a lot of other games, and I plan to sell pretty much most of those games. And once I do that, I will make my $120 back plus more. I bought the stack for this game, so it kind of is sort of free, but it involves a lot of work. You have to list all these games individually on eBay, and it takes you time, but you end up with a free game pretty much. So even without the crack, I'm still even with the crack, I'm still very happy that I picked that one up because it's pretty much cost me nothing. Now there's tons of games in here that I could go on about. They're probably the highlights, the biggest scores. I don't like having to put down $100 for a game like these. I like to hunt for them and find them cheaply, or find a way around where I can get it for pretty much free. Like this game, the 25th anniversary of Super Mario. Again, it's in like new condition. This wasn't free. It came with 3 other games, Wii U games. One of them was the Yoshi's Woolly World with the amiibo, and the game. It was all in very good condition. And also Tokyo Mirage Sessions as well, which was the collector's edition, for $70. This game goes for $70 on its own, but I didn't have either of those other games either, so I kept those as well. So that was a bit of a score too, but not quite as much of a highlight as Xenoblade or Fire Emblem or Shadow's Tale. One other one I got, actually, this was this week. I walked into EB Games, which is Australia's biggest games retailer, was this one, the House of the Dead Bang Bang box, and this comes with the two hand cannons, and it comes with the it's got like a little comic that comes with the game. I actually already have this game, but I picked it up because it was very cheap, and again, it's like new condition. It's just in such great condition. I think a lot of these games get played maybe once or twice and then just get chucked in the cupboard, so that's why you can often pick them up in such good condition. But yeah, it's complete, it's got everything, it's even got the packaging for the guns in there as well. So I picked that up for, it was $18 with a free game, so it's 2 for 1, 2 for 1 sale, so you pay for two $18, you pick up two $18 games for $18, so kind of $9, but I actually had a copy of this game already in my stash, so I'm selling that one off. So it pretty much almost cost me pretty much nothing, with a bit of juggling. Again, like the like Fire Emblem, takes a bit of juggling, but you get this stuff very cheaply or for free. You can also pick up Wii consoles very cheap as well. At the moment, I'm trying to find the boxed Wii consoles because they're a little bit trickier to find. There's a ton of loose Wii consoles out there. It's ridiculous, and I'll show you some of mine in a moment. This one with the Mario Kart I picked up at a market for $40. For some reason, Mario Kart is very sought after on eBay, considering how common it is. You can usually get between $30 and $40 just for the Mario Kart game itself. So the way I see it is, it comes with Mario Kart, which is worth $30 or $40, and I get the console for free. So that's a pretty good one. It's got the Motion Plus controller in it as well. I reckon I probably find maybe 1 in 10 controllers are Motion Plus, so I hang on to those and I get rid of the ones that aren't Motion Plus, because there's a ton of standard controllers out there. There's not a lot of games that support the Motion Plus, but the ones that do are really cool. So recently, when I was at a market, somebody was selling their online store of Wii consoles. They had to downsize their house, and I picked up 6 consoles, and they were $5 each, which brings my total up to about, I think I've got about 20 Wii consoles now. I'm not quite sure why I'm collecting so many of them, but time will tell, I suppose. Maybe they'll be worth something in the future. The way I see it is, they're going to be worth more than $5 each, I'm sure, at some point. But I don't pay too much for them because there is 120 million of them out there, so it's a bit like the PlayStation 2. They may not be as collectible as things like GameCubes, Nintendo 64s, and Super Nintendos and Nintendos, obviously. Yeah, for $5, I couldn't pass up the opportunity. So I got 6 of those, so it cost me $30 total because they're $5 each. It came with everything: the remotes, the power supplies, and the AV cables, and the sensor bars as well, which are often not included, the sensor bars, which is pretty annoying, but these ones came with the sensor bars. Whenever I get a console, I like to check if there's a disc inside, and one of these discs actually had Mario Kart, and I just bought a empty empty Mario Kart CD case and manual for $10, and I put the game in. I sold it for $40, so I made $30 off that. So all these consoles, at the end of the day, once I sold Mario Kart, cost me pretty much nothing. So if you're new to collecting for the Wii, a few tips I could possibly give you, just looking for bargains. Don't always look for direct bargains. Don't expect you're going to walk into a second-hand store or an op shop and you're just going to find second-hand games like Xenoblade Chronicles just sitting there waiting for you to pick up. They're hard to find. I've been to those op shops countless times looking and looking and looking, because something like that's not going to sit on the shelf for very long. That House of the Dead pack that I've got, the staff member told me that he had only put it out half an hour ago. So if I hadn't been there at that time, I wouldn't have found it. So it's a matter of just going, and you will find bargains. If you're there a lot, you will find them. If you only show up a few times and go, oh no, this is too hard, and walk away, you're not going to find much the first time you walk through the door. There's other people looking as well, so there's a lot of competition, so you have to be active. The other tip I'd give you is look for indirect bargains. So like I was saying before, this game, if you want this game and it comes with a whole bunch of other games that you don't want, buy it and just sell the other games off on eBay. And if you can work out, roughly what you'll get for those other games, you might find that you end up with that for free. Same with Fire Emblem, as I said to you. That's also a good tip. And the last thing too is with the Wii, if you pick up the actual consoles, if you're buying the consoles, check what they actually have on the console, because often I've bought, it doesn't happen very often, I should say, it's not often, it's probably a little bit on the rarer side, maybe 1 in 10 that I pick up. They actually have Wii games that people have purchased on the Wii store, and you can use the transfer tool. If you have a Wii U, which I do, you can transfer the Wii games off the Wii onto your Wii U, and my Wii U's now has got probably around about 20 games from the online store, and that's free. So all you need is a memory card, and you just follow a few steps and copy it over. It's pretty straightforward. And look for the discs too when you get the consoles as well. Just eject. Hit eject on the front when you power it up, when you're testing it. Make sure if there is a game in there, because like I said, you never know what you find in there. Usually it's rubbish. Like, I can't tell you how many Wii Sports I've pulled out of consoles, but occasionally you get a good one like Mario Kart. Can be worth a bit of money, even just as a disc on its own. So I hope you like this video. Plan to do more gaming related videos on this channel, because it's something that I'm very passionate about. I've been a gamer since I've been for as long as I can remember. The first console we had was the Manimex, which most people probably don't know, but it was a Pong console, and then the ColecoVision, Commodore 64, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStations, all that stuff. I'm into all that sort of stuff, so it sort of fits. The collecting and the YouTube channel fit in with my history. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. Hope the tips were helpful. Subscribe for more, because there'll be more coming. Cheers.